Hey everybody, this is coming out a little late today, but we have had technical difficulties here today, and I don't know about anybody else, but I did have trouble getting on the calendar. So I will walk you through what today is, and we'll see where it goes. Today is week 4, Friday, so we'll be starting next week on week 5. There'll be one submission for math and one submission for ELA that we have to just look at and show that people are responding. It's just a new thing that we're looking for. Don't let it stress you out. If you can get to it, you can get to it, but we just have a little check mark that we saw something, okay? Most of you already do that anyway, so thank you for doing that. And today, for parents, report cards are being mailed out, or have been mailed out, so I just want to talk about math. So math, if there's a 1 or a 2, those are areas that need to be practiced. 3 and 4 also should be practiced just to make sure they maintain those scores. If there's an NA in the boxes, that's something that we would be working on this quarter, so you can always work on it with them. And it's like time and money, things like that. Repeated addition, which we're doing this week. So those are things that you would be working with them on. So effort and participation, of course, is how hard they work during their work. Applying strategies, that means being able to write like a number sentence, an answer statement, things like that, and maybe doing it more than one way. Clearly communicates mathematical thinking, that's your answer statement. Adding whole numbers, subtracting whole numbers, that's like addition and subtraction facts, and we usually time those and get a grade before report cards. We do it before, at the beginning of the quarter, middle of the quarter, and the end of the quarter, and see how they do, and then decide how that goes. If there's an area there that you have a 2 in, you need to practice subtraction facts. We are setting up extra math this weekend, and it should be up and running by Monday. Then we say demonstrates repeated addition. That's just starting now. Solves word problems. We do that almost every day. Understands place value, and that's just like the hundreds place, tens place, ones place, and first you have to add the ones place, and if you have more than 10, you carry it over to the tens place, add it up, so on and so forth. Measures and estimates length, of course that's using a ruler. Tells and writes time, that's something that's coming up. So hour hand is the short hand, minute hand is the long hand, counting by 5s for those numbers. Solves problems using money. Like I told you earlier on when I started these videos, take a handful of change, put it on the table, have them count by 25s, count by 10s, count by 5s, count by 1s, and repeats and interprets data. That's like graphs. And we did a graph at one point, and I'll have to remember to add some more of that in. And I just did a graph to kind of get you started. We did a tally graph earlier on, and so there's things like bar graphs, pie graphs, line graphs, and we'll play with all those at some point throughout this semester. Okay? And last one, if you flip over on the back, recognizes, draws, and partitions shapes. So that's like a half, thirds, fourths, up to eighths, I think is what we would be looking for. But as long as they have an understanding of that concept, they should be able to partition it into any size they need. All right? And then I had on my notes to Zoom at 1 o'clock, which we've already done. So sorry about that, guys. It just wasn't working today. And then I had tons of meetings as well. Keep in mind, iReady and Extra Math are ways that we can see that data. We can see that the kids are working. So those will be incorporated in this 5 and 6 weeks. There's iReady every Tuesday and Thursday, and Extra Math. Okay, so and Extra Math is just like fact practice, and they can have that done in like 1-2 minutes depending on how fast they are with their facts. Nothing to stress about. Again, these are all things that you can do, things that will help if you can get to it. Don't stress over it. But again, looking at the report card, if it's a 1 or a 2 or needs improvement, that's somewhere where you need to work, try to work every day to keep those skills flowing. All right? And kids, I didn't see everybody today, but I saw most of you, so thank you for coming into our Zoom meeting today. Again, reading is nonfiction books, and I'm just going to encourage you to always read at least 20 minutes a day. You know, especially on days when it's snowy and damp and cold. Those are good days to get some reading in. Writing, it's going to be your closing for your report. So sometimes you want to restate what you're talking about or tell why you felt it was a good report to do. So if you're doing one on wolves, like I know Gracie is, then you might want to say, I think wolves are very majestic, and that's why I chose to write this report on wolves. Something like that, just to let people know that you're ending your report, restating maybe what you started with. So that's why I think wolves are so cool. All right. So just something to let people know that you're ending it. Your spelling would be a test today. See how you did. Again, we're not grading anything right now, but we want you to understand these principles so it makes your reading and writing easier. Math, we're going to talk about yesterday's problem, and then I'll introduce a new one today. But it is fun day on the calendar. So like I said, dice, cards, things we've done with Mrs. Ward, those kind of things that would be fun, even maybe a fun math game. I know you can find those on the internet fairly easily. At least you can during our recess time. All right? And then we'll look at day 13 for science. So, yesterday's question was, I used some of this stuff during our chat today. So, Angelina's phone has buttons arranged in 3 columns and 4 rows. Okay? Those will be some important things to know. What columns are up and down, and rows are across. Okay? Draw a picture, write a repeated addition sentence, and an answer statement. I did this ahead of time so we could look at it because I didn't have a lot of space left. So I did rows of 3, columns of 4. So I put my sentences, I did 2 of them, and I put them just so I could kind of have them up and down and across. 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. All right, so I have 2 repeated addition sentences. That was A was draw a picture. B was write a repeated addition sentence. I've done both those, check, check. And Angelina has 12 buttons on her phone. And letter C was your answer statement. And during our Zoom, Angelina showed us her phone, and it did have 12 buttons. All right, today's math problem is about Hunter A. Hunter A has 5 blue M&Ms, 5 red M&Ms, 5 yellow, and 10 brown. Draw them in an array. How many M&Ms does Hunter A have? Draw a picture, repeated addition sentence, and an answer statement. Let's read it one more time. And maybe we could break it down a little bit. Hunter A has 5 blue, 5 red, 5 yellow, and 10 brown M&Ms. Draw them in an array. All right. And how many M&Ms does Hunter A have altogether? So we're drawing a picture, repeated addition sentence, and an answer statement. Okay? And if you want to submit those, you can. Again, it really is only required after today to do it once a week. So possibly, you submit this one, and you're done for the week. Okay? But as much work as you want to submit, you can. Some people do it every day, and that's awesome because I can see you're watching my videos and you're with me. And, so anyway, check it out. I also thought for this one, if you wanted to add color, it just would be a fun way to make that look. And it would almost be like a bar graph. And I was trying to think of something else. But anyway, here is day 13. Oh, I know what it was. If we're at day 13, which I think is tomorrow actually, but we're at day 13 of the chick, and it takes 21 days for them to hatch. How many days do we have left to wait for chicks? All right. So here's day 13. As you can see, the chick looks like a chick. Here it is in its little sac. Here's the air sac that it's getting the air from. Here's the yolk, which is much smaller. The chick is taking up much more room in her egg. It actually looks like a chick. So now what happens is it just continues to grow until the yolk is all gone, and the chick will come out in 21 days. All right. So let's look at where we started. Day 3. Didn't even look remotely like a chick. Day 7. We can start to see features of the chick that are showing up a little bit better. We see the beak, we see legs started, the wing, the eye, and the heart's not showing now. Day 10. A lot less yolk, and we definitely see that there's the beak, feet are there now, the tail is evident, and the wing. And day 13. It actually has feathers and down. Looks like a chick. And we're just finishing. We're waiting for it to grow to maturity. And once it gets tight in there, it'll have a little tooth on its beak called an egg tooth. And it'll use that to start to peck through the shell and push its way out. All right. So we'll check more on that next week. And I'll do some candling this weekend and let you know how many eggs I think we have chicks in. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Get outside if you can, and I will see you on Monday. Thanks.